You say you're against this plan because you think China's getting off too easy and because you simply don't believe China will do enough to reduce its carbon footprint. But is that really your issue with the deal? I thought you didn't think carbon emissions were a problem.
All right, folks. You know, there's Jake Tapper, his liberal side coming at you on Gimme 5. There he is with Senator James Inhofe, who's been one of the leaders in the U.S. Senate for years in opposition to this global warming, climate change hoax. And, of course, he's against the deal. First and foremost, he's against the deal because it's not a deal. I mean, what kind of deal is it? You keep doing what you're doing for the next 14 years. 16 years. And we'll start doing stuff right now. That's a deal? And, of course, there is no, threat, climate change. It's all nonsense. But so why does it have to be either or? Why can't he be against the deal on the premise of the deal or the makeup of the deal and still believe that global warming and climate change is not a problem anyway? Here's more.
Well, no, I don't think so. In fact, the science has totally changed since 2001. Back then, everything was global warming and we're all going to die and all that. And then as we realized, Jake, what the cost was going to be. The cost would be the largest tax increase in the history of America, $300 to $400 billion every year. And you got to keep in mind, you remember when Lisa Jackson was the director of the EPA, appointed by Obama. And I asked her the question, on the record, live on TV, I said, if we pass any of this cap and trade stuff, either by regulation or by legislation, will that have the effect of reducing CO2 emissions? Her answer was, no, it wouldn't, because this is not where the problem is.
Yeah. But don't confuse Jake with the facts. He doesn't care about the facts. You know, he's a hardline leftist on issues such as these. Not all issues, but issues such as these. Here's more.
It's in China, it's in India, it's in Mexico. You know, you can carry that argument further, Jake, and say that as we would reduce ours and chase our manufacturing base to China where they have no regulations, it would have the effect of increasing, not decreasing, CO2.
Yeah. All right. So how does Jake Tapper react to all this, to being schooled, if you will? I view it as him being schooled. Nope. The mantra, the leftist mantra, which used to be you're a denier, and we're all going to die. Now here's the new leftist mantra. Watch.
Without getting into remedies, let's just talk about man-made climate change itself. There's a scientific consensus, overwhelming, that climate change is real, that it's at least partly man-made, that some action must be taken. Now, you've called it a conspiracy. What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying that when you say that science is settled and the overwhelming scientific analysis comes to that conclusion, Frank, that is just not correct.
It is not correct. It is not correct. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of scientists and meteorologists and climatologists who say this is baloney. One such person who fits into one of those groups is the founder of the Weather Channel. But they're all crazy. They're all crazy. It's 99% of the scientists are in agreement. Baloney. Here's more.
I can remember back in about 2002 or 2003 when I first started finding out from scientists that the science is not there, and then all of a sudden it started rolling in, and I published in the Congressional Record not hundreds, but thousands of scientists who disagree with the United Nations. Keep in mind, the scientists that are talking about, that's the United Nations that we're talking about. And there are many of them who were supposed to be taking part in that, and they were not allowed to do it because they didn't agree with what their consensus was.
Right. Okay. So in other words, he's saying that if you don't agree with the UN, you weren't included as a scientist. And here, Jake Tapper won't give up.
Let's keep in mind, President Xi, he said they're going to continue to increase their emissions until 2030. Well, he'll be long gone after that, and so it's easy for them to say something like that. When in fact, they are saying they're going to increase one additional coal-fired plant every 10 days in China for the foreseeable future.
All right, Senator. Well, the overwhelming majority of scientists disagree with you.
He had to get that in. Your Newsmax Now updates next.